This dark side of South Korea during the recession will shock you. South Korea used to look a lot different from what it looks like now. What happened in these 60 years when the particular country became extremely popular? In many aspects, South Korea is an exceedingly outstanding nation. In the 1950s, it had a degree of poverty comparable to that of India, but today it has a level of prosperity comparable to that of Spain or New Zealand. It is presently the 12th largest economy in the world, judging by purchasing power, making it the 12th largest economy overall. Along with a thriving pop culture, it is responsible for creating world-class corporations such as Samsung and Hyundai. After the war in the Korean Peninsula, South Korea was consistently ranked among the poorest nations in the world. Even when compared to North Korea, their GDP was significantly lower. It was a country that was severely lacking in development, and a large percentage of its inhabitants lacked in education. How is it possible that a country in such dire straits has infrastructure superior to that of the majority of European countries, and that it has become one of the most developed countries in such a short amount of time with such a thriving economy? It can mostly be attributed to these factors. In the 1960s, the government of South Korea decided to transition the economy from an agricultural one to an industrial one. However, rather than assisting small businesses, they assisted very affluent families, which they refer to as chaebols. They guaranteed these families would provide them with the utmost assistance and help them get out of any trouble they got into in exchange for additional jobs, which ultimately led to an increase in the economy's overall growth. The second step they took was to assure the populace that they would receive an adequate education. They encouraged people to attend school by spreading the myth that earning a college degree would make them eligible for a greater variety and number of desirable employment prospects. This move increased the number of students attending schools, eventually leading to South Korea becoming the most educated country in the world, even though in 1945 the country had a literacy rate of only 22%. The Korean government compelled universities to accept more students, and the strategy was successful. It is well known that South Koreans have an exceptionally strong work ethic. The chaebol family businesses were largely responsible for instilling a culture of intense labor in South Korea during the country's period of economic expansion. The concept behind this was that it was not just a profession, but rather a total and unwavering devotion to the achievement of the goals set forth by the organization, which takes precedence over one's family, personal life, and free time. It eventually became the norm to toil away at one's job for an absurdly extended period, sometimes even on weekends, and socialize with co-workers during and after working hours. However, when one speaks with South Koreans, it quickly becomes clear that the economic miracle that the country is experiencing also has a very negative aspect to it. Two numbers stand out as particularly startling. The rate of suicide in South Korea is higher than in any other developed nation in the world. In addition, it boasts the world's largest birth rate for a developed country, with only 1.2 children being born for every woman. Because of this, the population is getting much older at an alarming rate. If South Korea cannot change its demographics, a senior economist in Seoul warned me that the country will implode in 2 generations' time. In a strange twist of fate, it appears that both of these societal issues may be connected to something that is sometimes viewed as one of the nation's greatest triumphs: its extraordinary educational attainment record. Literacy and mathematical prowess are two areas in which South Korean students age 15 far outperform their peers worldwide. However, this fantastic accomplishment does not come without a cost. Most school-age children receive supplemental instruction at home to better prepare them to compete academically. It's believed that the high cost of providing an education for several children is one factor that discourages parents in South Korea from having more than one kid. And the stress that comes along with the competitive spirit established at school has been widely cited as a possible cause for the high suicide rate. After all, there are not very many people in South Korea who have the intention of fleeing to the north. On the other hand, there's a definite downside to the miracle that has taken place in South Korea, and there's also the possibility of some indications for the future of China, which is a neighboring country with another quickly rising economy that places a strong emphasis on education. China is grappling with a low birth rate and a rapidly aging society. That's it for today's video. If you want to watch more such videos like this, please press that bell icon and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up.